The speaker in these programs is Mr.Swamy C J. He is a versatile person. Besides his role as a management professional for over 27 years, he has a great knowledge about yoga, which he is practicing for over 2 decades. Besides to this, he is also a painting artist. He has used Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Upanishads, Hata Yoga Pradeepika and many divine literatures of Sanathan as references for this program. He started yoga as his part of life since 2002 when he happened to meet a yoga guru accidentally for his problem. Ever since, yoga has become his integral part of life, and he kept on learning many branches of yoga such as Hatha Yoga, Kundalini, Shakti Path, Bhakti Yoga, hypnosis and hypnotherapy by many gurus and yogis. This program is designed and offered with his own voice to the audiences. We hope you will enjoy every inch of this program.
Namaste. A very warm welcome to all of you for this yoga series sessions. Yoga, the word is derived from Sanskrit. Yuj, or to unite, or the yoke, are the similar words for yoga. That means the objective of yoga is to unite the conscious mind into the universal consciousness. At the beginning, let us understand what is subconscious mind and conscious mind before we move on to understand mind and its components. Conscious mind is on the upper crust of the mind and it plays a vital role in decision making and day-to-day activities of a human. Subconscious mind lies at the bottom of the mind where all the memories and experiences are stored. Subconscious mind plays a vital role in emotions, habits, and things related to that. Yogi, at the beginning of his learning, he has to understand the mind. There are 4 components of mind: manas, that is thought; buddhi, that is intellect; ahamkara, that is ego; and the last one is chitta. Manas and buddhi, that is the thought and intellect, works in conscious mind when a man is awake. But chitta works in subconscious mind. If you assume a pond of water, the upper layer of the water is manas, buddhi, but the bottom of the water is chitta, whereas ahamkara tangles between chitta and the upper crust, that is manas and buddhi. For a yogi, the important activity that he has to do is the chitta shuddhi. That means he should keep his chitta clean and neat. Chitta stores most of the things which are unwanted in the bottom of the pond. For one to clean this chitta, he has to get into constant meditation. Then only he will be able to get into subconscious mind and clear his chitta. Chitta in yogic system, without memory, it is the pure intelligence. Manas, that is thought; buddhi, that is intellect; ahamkara, that is ego; and chitta. These 4 components forms the complete mind. Manas, that is thought. When anything that appears in front of us thinks of something, it recognizes that and says what it is. For example, a glass of milk and a glass of buttermilk. Both are white in color. The moment Manas sees white liquid filled in a cup of filled in a glass. It says, I could see a white liquid. Maybe it is the milk or the buttermilk. This is what Manas says. Thereafter, Buddhi says, if it is milk, it is sweet in taste. If it is buttermilk, it will be little sour in taste. However, both will have white in color. Then Ahamkara, it says, I know milk, also I know buttermilk. Both of them will have white in color. Milk will have little sweet in taste, but it gives all the vital nutrients which I know. I also know milk consists of, besides vital nutrients, it also consists of required calcium which is required for the body. Also, it says something about buttermilk. I know buttermilk. I also know the buttermilk is the derivative of the milk. Like this, in every stage of its argument, Ahamkara keeps saying, I know, I also know, I came to know from my experience, I had this experience, I. Every time it uses the word I. That is the reason this is classified as Ahamkara or ego. Now let us understand how Chitta behaves. Chitta records and introspect each of these by listening to them. For example, when Manas or Buddhi says, milk is little sweet in taste, immediately Chitta captures that milk is of little sweet in taste. When Buddhi says that milk is sweet, but at the same time buttermilk is sour in taste, immediately Chitta records that buttermilk is sour in taste. Now, when it comes to Ahamkara, it says milk has got so many nutrients which are required for the body. Chitta records this as well. Then, when it comes to white liquid like milk or buttermilk, Chitta stores in two methodologies in its subconscious mind. One is that milk is sweet in taste, but it has so many vital nutrients. This is the positive aspect of milk. Then, when it comes to buttermilk, Chitta stores that it is sour in taste, it is the derivative of milk. This end result of memory, that is sweet, sour, nutrients and all this vital memory, is immediately stored in Chitta and transferred the data, the same memory, to mental and emotional bodies. Before we go to understand mental and emotional bodies in yogic system, let us understand the soul. Every living beings have got the soul. This soul comes from the Supreme Soul in the universe. This soul consists of four bodies. One is mental body, then emotional body. Third one is subtle body, Sookshma shareera, and the last one is physical body. In the emotional body, all the memories are getting stored from the births. Now, this emotional body consists of so many samskaras from so many births. Samskaras means impressions are the memories that got created in so many births. If it is emotional in nature, that would get stored in emotional body, or any other samskaras or the memories or the impressions which are logical or which are in nature of other normal aspects, all that gets stored in mental body. But there are no memories stored in subtle body and physical body. The first two bodies, that is emotional body and mental body, these two bodies carry samskaras to next life, which have been carried forward from the previous life and present life. Subtle body, that is Sookshma shareera, and physical body, these two bodies die and perish in this life itself. In yogic system, soul consists of 5 bodies. First one is anandamaya kosha, that is the body which is of complete bliss. Next one is emotional body. Next one is mental body. The fourth one is Sookshma shareera, that is subtle body. And the fifth one is physical body. But here, considering only 4 bodies around the soul, because the first body, that is the body, joyful body, or the body in the bliss, is considered as the soul itself, because the anandamaya kosha, that is joyful body, is not a body in the same sense as the 4 other bodies, but rather constitutes the soul itself, a body of light and bliss. So bliss is always considered as the soul itself. Hence, showing the 4 other bodies which are actively involved and are the subjects for today's session. Chitta, as I have explained you, constitutes of 3 things apart from Chitta itself. Together, it is the subject of 4 things: Manas, that is thought; Buddhi, that is intellect; Ahamkara, that is ego; and the last one is Chitta. Thought is a Manas or thought is a component which always keep wandering here and there. It is not constant and consistent. It picks up, keeps himself on a certain thing or an object. It keeps on dwelling on it. Immediately, Buddhi and Ahamkara jumps into the arguments. There is no control for thoughts and thought process unless until Chitta decides something to stop on it. But it is impossible for Chitta to stop it because it is the component of subconscious mind, whereas Manas, that is thought, is the component of conscious mind. Every time when a man is awake, Manas, that is thought, begins its action, where Chitta will only keep watching it because it is in subconscious mind. If one has to access Chitta, he can access only on 2 occasions. One is that when he is sleeping, other one is that he is under meditation. Chitta keeps recording of all the thought waves of Manas and the comments by Buddhi, also the comments from Ahamkara. All these comments of Manas, Buddhi and Ahamkara, the vital facts of these comments are stored in Chitta. At the same time, it gets transferred to emotional body and mental body. Any thoughts or the opinions or the comments are of emotional in body, emotional in nature, that will get transferred to emotional body. All other thoughts will get transferred to mental body. Here, for you to understand this subject in a simple manner, you can consider Chitta is a pure memory, and you can compare this with the RAM, random access memory, of your computer. Whereas emotional body and mental body are the memory banks that probably you can compare these with the hard disk of your computer. As I told you, all these memories which are produced by Manas, Buddhi, Ahamkara and Chitta getting stored in emotional body and mental body. When a man dies, first his subtle body and physical body will get separated. Then Chit transfers all the memory to emotional body and mental body, which is a constant process. But when the body is about to get separated from the soul, it will give a final transfer of all the data to emotional body and mental body, and finally it will also perish. Now, after the death of Sookshma shareera, that is subtle body and physical body, soul carries these two bodies, that is emotional body and mental body, along with it and go in search for another birth. It will go and search for another birth because there are certain impressions created by Chitta in this life, and also the same emotional body and mental body carries some other impressions of the previous incarnations that is still not fulfilled. So that is the reason the soul will go for another birth or another life to fulfill the unfulfilled deeds and acts. This is how the cycle of birth and death takes place. Both normal human and a human who is practicing yoga will have the same structure. That means soul covering 5 bodies. Here I have shown only 4 bodies for the subject, that is emotional body, mental body, subtle body and the physical body. But a normal man who is not practicing yoga or does not know anything about yoga, he will lead a normal life. Besides his previous impressions carried in his mental body and emotional body, he will add another fresh lot of few more impressions of this life and die. When all these impressions and the memories are the unfulfilled deeds and unfulfilled acts are stored in mental body and emotional body, and when the man dies, because of the unfulfilled deeds and acts, the normal man will hunt for another life to take. That means the soul of a normal body will take another birth to fulfill all unfulfilled deeds and acts. These unfulfilled deeds and acts are stored in emotional body and mental. This is called the body with seeds. In yogic system, these unfulfilled deeds and acts are called bijas, that is seeds. To get this fulfilled, the man takes another birth. Now look at the structure with yogi, the person who practices and have the knowledge of yoga. This man is also having the same structure of soul and other bodies. But the difference is, because of yogic knowledge and yogic practices, this yogi could able to manage his chitta and reduce the impressions, make the impressions almost zero through his yogic practice. When the impressions are zero or nothing, we call that situation or the state as seedless. That means all samskaras or the impressions have been eliminated from emotional body and mental body. So, when all these samskaras of previous births and this birth are eliminated from the mental body and emotional body, the sage, the yogi, becomes Gnani, Atma Gnani, or the man with enlightenment. When a yogi becomes a Atma Gnani, that is enlightened, he only speaks the truth. His physical body is still active, but his emotional body and mental body are not going to take any more or any further impressions from Chitta, because the Chitta is not creating any new impressions because of his yogic practice. That means the yogi has mastered how to control manas, that is thought, intellect, ego, and chitta. Because of this yogic practice, he controls these four things. So the impressions from chitta is almost zero, which are to be fed to emotional and mental body. That is the reason the yogi will always speaks truth. But this truth for other all humans looks very odd. Now, yogi, from his continued yogic practice, after mastering his emotional and physical body and mastering on chitta, now his subtle body keep going out and coming back, because he is now preparing to move out of this body and wants to merge with Supreme Soul. That means this soul, he wants it to take it back to Supreme Soul, from where this soul had come so many years back. Now, yogi slowly start detaching from his physical body. As a first step, he keep sending out his subtle body, that is Sookshma shareera. Finally, he gets separated from Sookshma shareera, that is subtle body, and then he gets detached from the physical body. Now both subtle body and physical body got detached. Now yogi is left with only soul, emotional body, and mental body. Since emotional body and mental body carries no impressions, that means seedless, now he do not have to carry these two bodies along with the soul and find for another life, because there are no impressions, samskaras left over in emotional body and mental body. So soul becomes all alone, without any baggages, without any load, without anything. It is in its pure state. Now he detaches mental and emotional body, as it has already become seedless through yogic practice. Now soul becomes all alone. It is nothing to do in this material. When it is nothing to do in this material, this will now start reducing its frequency and becoming ready to join the Supreme Soul by becoming lighter and lighter. Journey of soul to join the Supreme Soul begins, it gets united with Supreme Soul. This is how the practice of yoga helps in achieving the salvation of eternal goal of life, that is yoga, and its practices makes it possible. Takeaways from today's session. Manas, that is thought, works in conscious mind. Buddhi is a wisdom faculty. Ahamkara, that is ego, is a false knowledge. Chitta works in subconscious mind. Impressions from Manas, Buddhi and Ahamkara, which are created, are stored in the bottom space of Chitta. Soul has 5 bodies. Samskaras are stored in emotional and mental body. Soul will get liberated from this material earth once it clears all samskaras stored in emotional and mental body. With this, I thank you all the viewers and listeners of this session. Let us catch up again in the coming session with yet another wonderful topic. Thank you. Shubhamastu.